What's up, y'all? Got Week 11 NFL picks. Tonight's game, Green Bay playing in Seattle. They got a 3-point spread on that one. I do like Green Bay to win this game. I think that they're going to match up a little bit better. Seattle's not going to be able to move the ball in the air well enough, I think, to get the win, even though they're at home. Next, we're going to do Pittsburgh at Jacksonville. Being that Pittsburgh lost to Jacksonville twice last year, I think that Pittsburgh's going to go down to Jacksonville. I think they're going to win pretty big. I think Pittsburgh's firing on all cylinders right now. They've got the Le'Veon Bell situation out of the way. They know where they're going forward. And Jacksonville's still trying to get things figured out right now. Leonard Fournette's coming back, but Pittsburgh's stout against the run. It's going to force Blake Bortles to try to beat him. They don't have the same receivers they had last year, so I just don't think it's going to work out for Jacksonville. Now, next, we've got Dallas and Atlanta. Now, I like the Cowboys in this one. I think that Matt Ryan's going to have some trouble with the Cowboys defense. I don't think Atlanta's going to be able to run the ball. And I think that Dallas will be able to move the ball pretty easily against Atlanta's defense, who has trouble stopping the run. So look for Zeke to have a big game in that one, I think. And Dallas should get the victory there in Atlanta. Next one, we've got Cincinnati at Baltimore. Now, Baltimore, I think, is probably going to get this win either way. They didn't have a spread up for this one. By the way, the Pittsburgh-Jacksonville spread was +6, and the Dallas-Atlanta spread was -3. As far as those go, Pittsburgh, I think, will probably cover that 6, and Dallas should probably cover the 3, I think, in Atlanta. Now we're going to go, well, I'd probably leave that one alone. At any rate, they didn't have a spread in the Cincinnati-Baltimore game. They don't know if Flacco's playing or Lamar Jackson's going to start. Flacco's most likely going to play. They say he just doesn't need to practice. Also, there's some questions with A.J. Green playing with Cincinnati, so that's the reason there's no point spread up there. But I think Baltimore's going to get the win either way. Cincinnati's struggling right now. They're going into the, I think, kind of a downward turn. And Baltimore needs to get things back together because they had some tough games there against Pittsburgh and tough game against the Saints. So I think they're going to be looking to get back on track, whether we got Lamar Jackson or Flacco back there. Now, Tennessee playing in Indianapolis. Now, that's a -2 spread. I think Tennessee is probably going to get this win. I think it's probably too close to call the points. I think Tennessee will come out with the win because I think their defense is going to be able to do a little bit of damage against Andrew Luck, and he's going to have some trouble there. Maybe get a couple of turnovers there. So I like Tennessee to win that on the road. They're coming off that big win against New England, so they're full of confidence as well. Now, we've got Houston playing in D.C. against the Redskins. I'm going to go with Houston. This was a tough call for me. It's Redskins are Houston's favored by 3 points. I'm going with Houston in a close one. I think they're just going to barely outperform Washington, who's been playing pretty well this year. They are playing at home, but I just think right now Houston's just playing a little bit better. We're going to get that win. Now, next game we've got Tampa Bay playing in New York. The Giants are favored by 1. Don't like the Giants in this one. I like the Bucks to go into New York and get the victory. They're pretty decent against the run, and New York's not very good at just straight up running the football. I mean, Barkley's awesome, but they don't run an offense that allows him to really take over the game. I mean, they still want Eli to be involved too much. Just don't think they're going to be able to win that way. They didn't win the Super Bowls by Eli chucking the ball over the place. They won with a strong run game. So they don't have that philosophy right now. I think Tampa Bay's going to be able to take advantage of that and be able to get a win there in New York. Maybe a decently high-scoring game, though. The over-under's 51.5. It may go over that, I'm thinking. Quite possibly. That all once again depends on Eli Manning if you want to put your faith in Eli. Next game, Panthers at Detroit Lions. Now, you got a 4-point spread in this. Carolina's favored by 4 on the road. I think they're going to get the win. I don't really like that spread. I think it might be a little bit closer than that. Detroit shows they can do a little something there. But with losing Golden Tate, they've got to get things worked out on offense. On defense, they've got their troubles as well. Patricia's working on that, though. But I expect Carolina to be able to get the win. Maybe a little bit closer than they think, though. Next one, we've got the Raiders. The Raiders playing in Arizona. I expect the Cardinals to get a win here. And they're probably going to win. I mean, they're 5-point favorites. They're probably going to cover that. I hate to say it, but the Raiders are just terrible. They're pretty much tanking. They're not really trying to win right now. So I don't really see any reason why the Cardinals wouldn't get this victory unless some Raider player decides to just break the trend here and try. Next we've got Denver Broncos. Broncos playing in LA against the Chargers. Chargers are 7-point favorites. Don't like that. Don't like it. I think the Broncos are going to win the game. I think that Phillip Rivers is going to get into trouble. They've been doing really well recently. Gordon's been doing well. Eckler. But I think they're going to get into a little bit of trouble with Denver's pass defense, which is still, pretty tough. And they get a couple of turnovers. These teams know each other very well. So I think Denver's going to keep it close and ultimately come away with the victory there in LA, giving the Chargers an upset loss. Next, we're going to go on to the Eagles in New Orleans. All right, Eagles in New Orleans, I'm going to go with New Orleans. New Orleans is firing all cylinders right now. Maybe the best team in the league. That's still debatable, being that they lost to the Bucs, albeit it was week 1. And, the Rams' only loss was in New Orleans. Chiefs' only loss was in New England. So it's debatable whether they're the best team in the league. But I think they're doing really well right now. They're going to get this victory at home. It's a 9-point spread. Saints favored by 9. Don't like that 9 points. Philly still defending Super Bowl champions. You get them down there on that turf in New Orleans, they're liable to start firing a little bit more than they have. They've been sticking to the run. The run's not going to work too well against New Orleans. So expect to see Carson Wentz back out there firing the football around. And you're going to see, Golden Tate going to get a little bit more acclimated. He's going to be back on turf. So I look for a decently high-scoring game in that one. Over-under 56. I think this probably going to hit that probably pretty solidly. Saints could, do probably 50 themselves. They've just been playing awesome. Now, next we've got the Vikings here playing in Chicago. This was a tough one for me to call. Chicago's 2.5-point favorites. I think they're going to win this game. It's going to be close. I wouldn't do anything with the spread. I wouldn't do anything with the totals. 45-point over-under. I just don't know which way this could go. High scoring, low scoring. You don't really know what you're going to get in this one. It's a division rivalry. I just think that Chicago's going to come through with a tight victory right now off of the home field advantage pretty much in their defense. It's really that close, but Minnesota could just as easily win this game, so it's a tough call. Next, in the last game on Monday night, we've got the Kansas City Chiefs going to LA to play the Rams. Now, this is obviously game of the week, 2 one-loss teams. Both of them are playing off the charts on offense. They've got some problems on defense. The Rams are a little bit exposed against the Saints, but who isn't? Kansas City's been weak on defense. They give up points to everybody. They've just been able to outscore everyone. Mahomes has just been the gunslinger that he was down at Texas Tech plus more. So I look for them to go after it. Mahomes is going to face the toughest defense, in my opinion, that he's faced so far. So we'll see what he's made of. I expect the Rams to get the win. They're 3.5-point favorites. They'll probably cover that. They probably will. It'll probably be close for a good amount of time, but something tells me that they'll get them into a situation where they're just going to have to pass too much, and the Rams will be able to take the ball away and seal it up. Over under 63.5. That's a lot. It's a lot of points. They could do it. I still kind of like it 63.5 because both the teams have just shown that they can put up points on pretty much anybody all year long. So there we have it. That's Week 11 picks. DraftKings picks coming.